And we're back here inside the ropes with the one and only Bryan Danielson. How you doing?
Doing great.
Now, as we're winding down the career, I thought we could talk about some kind of big stuff that's happened in your career.
Okay.
One of the ones is the All Out debut at 2021. And that was the first time you'd been in front of a non-WWE crowd properly in over a decade or something. It was a long time.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind when you're behind the curtain before you come out? What was going through your mind?
Well, I was just excited, right? The energy, the weird part was I was stuck in a trailer, right? Watching the whole show on the TV. And that's not how I like to watch my wrestling shows when I'm there live. As much as I can, I like to see it because being there live is always something special. I like to peek through the curtain, right? I stood on the side and watched Sting's last match at Revolution this year, and it's just incredible. So anyways, All Out, I'm watching it in the thing, and it's oh man, what a great show. But then as soon as I went into the arena, and then I see some of my friends on the way there, right? So that's super cool. And then the match is, coming to a close, and you can see it's okay, it's almost my time. It was just exciting.
There's no nerves of you're walking into this new thing, no?
No, I stopped being nervous once I came back from retirement in 2018. I don't get nervous. I just get excited and I have fun. So.
I have to ask you about this because it really tickles me if it's true. Is it true that when you were renegotiating with WWE to potentially stay, that Vince was going to let you do the G1?
So I don't know for sure if he would have let me. The last conversation that we had, where I told him that I was going to, because I told him I was going to go to AEW. I told him once I make my decision, I'll tell you. And so it was around August of that year. My contract expired the last day of April of 2021. It was early August is when I finally decided, and I called and told him, and then he kind of asked me why, and I said, well, this, that, the other. One of the things I want to do is I want to do the I want to work with New Japan and do the G1. And he did say in that moment, I don't know if it would have actually ever come to fruition, that I'd let you do that or whatever it is. And so yeah, I think maybe, but even
do you think he knew what it was?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because that'd be I'm taking 6 weeks off to go and do this.
But he definitely knows what New Japan is,
yeah.
Right? So he definitely knows what New Japan is and all that kind of stuff. And I had told him of my desire to do the G1 before, because I said hey, because I kept pitching G1 style tournaments in WWE, but I said I'd really like to be able to do this thing, yada yada yada. So yeah.
And did he try and give you a hard pitch, or was he kind of you've made your decision, good for you,
he not a super hard pitch as far as it wasn't it wasn't a super hard pitch, I don't think.
And then one of your biggest moments is obviously the WrestleMania 30 main event, and I think fans sometimes kind of just study that time period because there's the Rumble, Punk leaves, you're supposed to be wrestling Sheamus at WrestleMania. At what point in your mind do you go, oh, I might be in the main event and I might also be wrestling Triple H now?
Gosh, now, because now that's 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's over 10 years ago now. So now I don't remember, I'd hate to say the wrong thing and be oh, it was this time, when it clearly wasn't that time. It was around 4 to 6 weeks, I think, before WrestleMania. There were a lot of things. It was, Punk ended up quitting, right? And then actually, maybe it was about 3 or 4 weeks after Punk quit. So I don't know.
And when you found
I don't have a great recollection. My memory's not so hot.
But when you find out, first of all, you're wrestling Triple H, then you might be in the main event as well. What's the mindset change for you of oh, I might be basically the focal point of this entire WrestleMania?
Yeah. I was just excited. At first it was just the idea of doing me and Triple H, and not the winner of that match going into a triple threat. And I don't know if maybe they didn't tell me until a week before for sure that I was going to do the triple threat. But I just kind of assumed, and maybe that was a bad idea. That could have gone really sideways mentally if I would have assumed that was the case. And then they're yeah, we're actually going to put Hunter in the main. Okay.
Was it also a weird thing where you've got this big night and it's a huge moment for your career, and it's the same night that Undertaker's streak ends, and then he goes to the hospital? That's a weird night for all this stuff to happen.
Yeah, and it was weird. I wasn't in the headspace to like pay too much attention to that. Like I was kind of stretching and trying to get my my neck and everything loosened up because my neck was really bad at that point. And so my neck was really bad. I had a really bad shoulder. And so anyways, I was just trying to get loosened up and then, just kind of vaguely paying attention to the monitor. And then I saw the 1, 2, 3 and the crowd not react at all because everybody was like me thinking like, oh, that wasn't the finish. And then, but then it was. And then they played the music and it was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, but I don't know. At that point, I was just trying to survive.
And obviously last year it was really sad about Bray Wyatt passing away, and you did work with him in 2014 a little bit. What are your memories of working with him? Because everyone seems to just have like great things to say about him.
Yeah, I mean we had so much fun together, and so yeah, he was just a wonderful human being, and we had a lot of fun, not wrestling. And a lot of fun wrestling too. Like some of my favorite matches in WWE were live event matches that I had with Bray. So yeah.
And is it kind of cool to see now that the Wyatt Six stuff with Bo and Rowan getting to kind of do this kind of tribute in some ways to him?
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen any of it.
I thought you were gonna say I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it. So no.
No. I just haven't seen it.
Bryan Danielson hates it now.
Yeah, there's only so much time in the day, and I've got 2 kids, and doing this, and I haven't seen it.
One other really fun thing you did in WWE was the Planet's Champion.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that kind of was allowed to go as far as it did? Still, the Planet's Champion.
Yeah. So the one that I was really surprised by, and I actually got invited to speak at Rutgers University after this promo, is I did an interview with AJ Styles and Vince, and I said in the promo that Vince's generation is like the real problem of everything, and then they bowed down to him. And then after that I was surprised they let me say any of that, because it was, these concepts were my ideas, but then we still have to pitch it, and there's still like a format and a script, and so it's like, and he was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, really? I can say all this? Yeah.
I mean, you got to kind of give Kofi that big moment, or be part of Kofi's big moment at WrestleMania, which was, might not happen had the Planet's Champion thing not happened.
Yeah. I mean, I had so much fun. That was such a, because that's a very, we all have different aspects of our personality, right? And there is very much a part of me that is like the Planet's Champion, except instead of putting that scorn on other people, like I don't look at people and be like, oh, you should be doing this or you should be doing this. I look at myself and be like, I should be doing this. I should be doing this. I shouldn't be consuming as much. I should be, So it's like, yeah. All that stuff that was like twisted on the American fans was actually my own self-loathing.
Away from your self-loathing, what would you say is your favorite AEW match moment when you kind of look at the run as of now?
I mean, I don't have any one favorite. I have a series of favorites, because this has been the most fun I've had in my career. And so it's like my first match with Kenny, I loved the first 2 matches I had with Hangman were just like that. I never thought I would do an hour draw again, and the first one that I did with Hangman, I was just like so over the moon happy. And then after that, let's see, then I got hurt. The Garcia matches were fun. Then the Iron Man with MJF was fun. I mean, that's the thing. I don't have like this hierarchy of like, it's this, that, this. It's like a bunch of these cool moments that I didn't think I'd ever experience again. You know what I mean? When I didn't think I'd get to be able to wrestle this style that I love so much, And so like I love both matches that I had with Zack Sabre Jr. So I had one in AEW at Wrestle Dream last year, and then I had one in New Japan. I loved, and one of the things I love about AEW is that Tony lets me, and I got to go wrestle in Arena Mexico for the first time, and wrestle like my favorite luchador, Blue Panther, in Arena Mexico, in the main event of Arena Mexico. I mean, so there's just all of these cool moments. The Will Ospreay match. Gosh, how could I forget that?
There are loads. There's so many.
There's just loads. Yeah. There's just loads that were so much fun. So
I feel there was one. I feel when Punk came to AEW, I think a lot of people would hope that you guys would work together and get to do a program, and obviously it didn't work out. Are you kind of sad that didn't work out, that you guys could get to do more together?
Sad isn't the right word. Like, it was something that I thought was going to happen that didn't happen, right? And so it's like it would have been It would have been really cool and really fun for me. But,
It would have been a nice bow in the kind of he quits, you get to take the thing, and then you guys are together 10 years later.
Yeah.
And then 2 last questions. There's a big kind of online debate, which I'm sure you're not watching this debate happen, but there's a big debate about storylines versus in-ring wrestling and what is more important, and people are very passionate about both sides of those.
Okay.
What is your opinion?
It's a totality, right? It's a totality of the story. One of the things that I also don't understand is there's in-ring wrestling is storytelling. So it's like, so I mean, it's all like if you go out there and you do a wrestling match and there's no story to it whatsoever, it's garbage, right? But there's different presentations, and that's I don't know. It's so weird. I'm not aware of the discussion that you're talking about, but it would be interesting. It would be interesting for me to read it to see what kind of their arguments are about. Like, because if it's WWE style storytelling, right, versus in-ring storytelling, like what are the pros, cons, whatever it is. I prefer more of like a sports style in-ring style of storytelling, but there's all sorts of different types of storytelling from wrestling all over the world, right? And I think one of the things is WWE kind of having a monopoly on the industry in the United States for so long. People think there's just one type of storytelling, but wrestling's told many different types of stories in many different ways throughout, for decades.
But what's interesting about, your favorite style is in-ring storytelling, right? But you're also really good at the character stuff, the stuff that you maybe did more of in WWE. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that that's maybe not your favorite style, but you are really good at that as well.
Well, so it's interesting when you bring that up. So some of it isn't necessarily storytelling. Some of it is just character development, and more outrageous characters, right? And so yeah, but that was actually something I learned here in the UK, because I would come here, like when I first started wrestling, I was really, really shy. And so it's like, okay, you're telling me I have to go out and pretend to fight in spandex underwear in front of even in front of 100 people. That's horrifying, right? And so it's like, but I would come over, so I was really good at kind of technical wrestling right off the bat, but I had a really hard time with being entertaining. And so I would come over here and I'd do the Butlins tours, and I'd work for Bryan Dixon. I was here for 6 months, 2003, 4 months in 2005, another 3 months in 2008, and that's what allowed me to do some of the more character entertaining style thing in WWE. And you know what? To be honest, I enjoyed it. Depending on who the person you're doing it with, right? Like me doing it with Kane was so much fun because we're, two very different personalities that gelled really well. But but yeah, I really, I enjoyed that kind of stuff.
There's you as the bear on Saturday Morning Slam with Regal.
Oh, well, there's some stuff. There's a couple things actually that I'm really proud of that I even got through. That I even just got through the many layers of things that you have to get through in WWE. One of the things, so there was I did commentary on a Saturday Morning Slam, and it was Claudio wrestling R-Truth. I just talked about bears the whole time, and then Claudio knew I told Claudio about it, and so they did the bear hug and all that kind of stuff, and so yeah, that was a blast. There was in the pandemic, I got Fist Me Boys on TV, which is just it was a live shot, and it was with the Street Profits and I think Kevin Owens, and we just did something. We're all good guys, and in my head I'm thinking I'm the old uncool guy. The Street Profits, both of them are legitimately both super cool dudes, so much fun to be around, right? And I come to the back, and we've got this live shot, and okay, what are we, oh, we're just excited about winning, and then at the end of it, I just go, okay, fist me, boys. They're just yeah. So
don't ever change.
Yeah.
Two last things. This is a hypothetical, but I'm interested in it. Obviously, when you left WWE and came to AEW, you wanted to do different stuff, and Vince was in charge. If, when you had left, Triple H had been in charge, do you think that would have changed anything? Do you think he would have tried to do more to give you, maybe a G1 style tournament to try and keep you, or do you think that kind of your mind was made up about a change?
I mean, I hadn't made up my mind. I was actually, everybody thinks of it as two options. AEW or WWE, but I had three options. 4 options probably, actually. The AEW, WWE, not wrestling at all, which was seriously on the table, and then also not signing any contract and just doing like, okay, if I want to go do G1, I don't have to ask anybody's permission. I'll just contact New Japan. So like, hey, can I do the G1? Contact Rocky Romero. Can I go down and do Arena Mexico? All that kind of stuff. All of those were kind of on the table and things that I was thinking of, but yeah, I don't think much would have changed, in the sense of, the reason I left wasn't because Vince was in charge or because I wasn't happy with the WWE product or anything like that. There were just some things I wanted to do. That some of the things that I wanted to do, you just can't do in WWE, and you still can't, right? And so it's like, they're not things that are like, oh, WWE doesn't do this, so they suck or whatever it is. No, they're just logistical things that they can't allow anymore because of some of the things that they do. And so yeah, there were just some things that I wanted to do. I enjoyed my time there, but yeah, I think regardless of who was in charge, I think I would have made this decision at the end.
Last thing, in some interviews, stage shows you've done and stuff, you're a bit of a curmudgeon, it seems. So I want to know, what is one of Bryan Danielson's pet peeves in wrestling?
Okay, say that again.
What is one of
curmudgeon?
Well, sometimes you're backstage, maybe complaining about stuff. You've been on stage with Renee Paquette at Starcast, and you were kind of like, you just seem a bit of a curmudgeon sometimes about stuff.
What does that mean?
Like a kind of old school grump guy.
A grumpy guy? I don't think I have that.
Like
Whoa!
Hey, how you doing, Brian?
Question.
Sure.
Do you think I'm a curmudgeon?
No.
Are you just saying that?
No, I actually love the word curmudgeon, and I would not use that to describe you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty happy backstage, right?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I picked it up wrong.
Who said that?
He said it. He said you kind of have a reputation as a bit of a curmudgeon backstage, and I was like, that can't be the case.
I think you're a quirky guy.
Yeah.
You're a quirky fun guy.
Quirky and fun.
Quirky, I got the words wrong.
I also tried, to be fair, I did try to convince Willow that she was the only person that existed and that I was a figment of her imagination that only appears when she enters the room, and then when she leaves, I disappear. So, so there's that.
There is that. Listen, good luck on Sunday with everything. And,
Listen, everybody watch All In. Sunday, I'm going to be wrestling Swerve Strickland, title versus career. It's going to be awesome. I might die in the ring, but
no, you won't.
Yeah.
You will live. You will be happy.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy. I'm a happy person, and I'm not a curmudgeon, despite what some people might say. Please enjoy All In.